I had a dream last night that culminated in me thinking of this really weirdly specific Yuri plot, and I told my Discord server about it, and I was like, you know what? Let me give this to the masses as well. Let me hear their thoughts on it. No cooking video this time, but
So that was a fucking lie.
instead you get to look at these really cute chibis that I got off of Pit Crew. Shout out to 840 Chimmy. Anyways, let's get started. As all typical Yuri does, we have two main girls, one of which we'll call Gigi, and she's your typical good girl, very sweet, very outgoing, not the best at academics, but what she lacks in brains she makes up for in passion, and has probably the biggest heart out of anyone you'll know. And just for fun, throw in a really strong sense of morality and some pretty black and white views about how the world works. And then we have Rose, and the best way I can describe Rose is if you took Nagito Komaeda and put him into a domestic setting and also made him a girl, minus the self-loathing. Very eccentric, very straightforward, has very little filter, and yet somehow manages to retain a high level of popularity despite all of this. What can she say? The people love a real ass bitch. But with all of this comes, let's say, a little bit of an ego and a very much if I want it, I'm going to get it mindset. So you can imagine what happens on Rose and Gigi's first day of university where they end up as dorm mates, and Rose specifically lands her sights on Gigi's and decides right there and right then, I'm going to marry this woman and I'm going to put at least a family of 6 in her. But Rose isn't entirely insane. She knows she can't just decide she loves someone at first sight. She needs to truly make sure this is the woman she wants to be with. So what does she do? She decides keeping an eye on her for the day is enough for her to gauge whether she's truly in love or not, to which she concludes she indeed is. But unfortunately, it seems her little study session on Gigi presents a barrier. The fact that Gigi has a boyfriend and has been dating him since childhood. But not for nothing, like I said, Rose is a very persistent woman. So what does her no filter having ass do? She walks right up to Gigi and is like, hey, you should break up with your boyfriend. It's so abrupt and absurd that Gigi just bursts out laughing and assumes that she's joking. But for Rose, she takes this as Gigi saying, oh, you're so right, Rose, I'll break up with him right now. So you can imagine her frustration when she realizes that they indeed have not broken up. And not just that, but upon further inspection, it seems that Gigi's boyfriend actually really sucks, and the only reason she hasn't broken up with him yet is because she doesn't believe that his behavior is worthy of breaking up a relationship. In fact, there are very few things that Gigi believes is okay to break up a relationship over, one of which is infidelity, which Rose learns in her painstaking friendship with Gigi as she resists every urge to not try and pick her up and take her home right there and then. With all the impulse control she can muster, Rose's ever-wise mind comes up with a different idea. She simply has to seduce Gigi's boyfriend and make sure that Gigi catches them in the act, if you know what I mean. Did I mention Rose is not entirely in her right mind? It goes as splendidly as one could imagine. Gigi does break up with her boyfriend, which is a yay for Rose, but also now hates Rose, which Rose is completely confused by. Rose is like, why are you so mad at me? I literally stopped you from getting with a cheater. Not at all understanding or even comprehending the fact that there is a world where Gigi thinks Rose was attracted to her boyfriend. Whereas Gigi very reasonably is like, dude, you're a homewrecker. I hate you. Gigi tries to get transferred to another dome, but unfortunately it's too late, and so she just has to suck it up. She tries venting to her friends instead, but they're all very confused. Why? Because Rose is pretty much the biggest lesbian in town and is very infamous for straight up hating men. And before you say that's a stereotype, this is basically myself, insert leave me alone /J. Half J. Anyhow, as you can imagine, this leaves poor simple-minded Gigi very baffled. Why on earth would her lesbian roommate sleep with her boyfriend? Did she hate Gigi that much? And so the entire thing is basically Rose trying to court Gigi in the most obvious manners ever to everyone around them, but Gigi remains consistently oblivious as she tries to go down the rabbit hole of what the hell is wrong with Rose, whilst also gradually realizing that holy fuck she's falling for this crazy bitch. And then ensues shenanigans, hijinks, and communication problems so bad you'd think you were watching Nana. Spoiler alert, they end up married and with those 6 kids that Rose wanted. Who impregnated who? I guess you'll just have to find out on the next episode of Yuri, that doesn't exist yet. Wait, what do you mean our show was cancelled?